We know that you've been waiting all week, so stop worrying. It's finally here.
Welcome to BuffSports Live, everyone. I'm Zoe Paulson, and I'm here today with Ben Wells.
Yeah, we have got an exciting show for you guys today. Women's and men's basketball, football coach updates, track and field.
That's right, everyone. It's finally March, and we're preparing for some madness.
Well, in that case, let's stop teasing everyone and get right into it.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But that doesn't apply to the women's basketball team. At the Pac-12 tournament, their game happened, but they won't be staying in Vegas. Colorado has been bounced from the tournament after a first-round loss to 7th-seeded USC. It was a tie game at the half, 32-32, but in the fourth quarter, USC outscored Colorado 20-8 en route to a 69-54 loss against USC. This is the end of Colorado's run in the Pac-12 tournament, but the Buffs still have a shot at the women's NIT tournament. They'll find out about that on March 16th.
The Buffs are out, but the women's basketball Pac-12 tournament is still going on. Right now, number 8 Utah is playing first-seeded Oregon. Number 12 Cal shocked number 5 Arizona State to advance to the second round. The semifinals will be tomorrow and the finals on Sunday at 6 o'clock. You can watch the final on ESPN2 and every other round on the Pac-12 network.
Now, we'll shift over to men's basketball. After a very exciting and promising finish, the Buffs fell short against Stanford on Sunday. They had a hard time getting started, and at one point, they were down by a full 15 points. Later, the Buffs managed to almost make a comeback, closing the gap to 3 points. Tyler Bay had 17 points, and McKinley Wright earned a double-double, but in the end, it wasn't enough. This is the third loss in a row for this usually impressive team. Tad Boyle said that afterward, the team needs to get back to doing what they're capable of doing.
Looking past that rough showing for the Buffs, the Pac-12 tournament starts this Wednesday in Vegas. The bracket hasn't been announced yet, so we've got that to look forward to later this weekend. As of now, the Buffs are ranked 4th in the Pac-12. If they win their game tomorrow, Colorado is guaranteed a top 4 spot, which would also give them a first-round bye in the tournament.
Yes, Ben, as you said, before the tournament starts, our Buffs have one more regular season game. Tomorrow, the Buffs take on the Utah Utes, who are ranked number 10 in the Pac-12. Tad Boyle said that the Buffs simply need to be more consistent in order to win this one. Important game for the Buffs, who are trying to end the regular season on a positive note. Tad Boyle said that Utah is always a tough team at their home arena.
The one thing about Utah, they're tough and they're well coached, and they're a team that you have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. I always say that the most dangerous animal is the one that's wounded in the side of the road. and I think you got 2 of them playing in this game, Colorado and Utah.
We also asked Coach Boyle about the team's defensive effort as of late.
We did not fix that problem in the Bay Area when you give up 50%, 52% to Stanford and Cal. They just have their way with you. Our defensive inefficiencies against UCLA have not been fixed in the games. I've seen some progress in practice, but until we start doing it in the games, it really doesn't matter.
With the Pac-12 tournament coming up for the men's team, we thought we'd pull out a bit of CU's history for this week's trivia question. Back in 2012, in Tad Boyle's first season as the head coach, the Buffs won the Pac-12 tournament, their lone victory under Boyle. So, we are asking you, who was the MVP of the tournament back then? Stay tuned to find out.
Whew, that's a tough one. I'll be really impressed if anyone gets that at home.
Yeah, it's going to be rough, but don't go away. We have got a lot of exciting stuff coming up in the show.
Definitely. We've got some more CU basketball and even a new edition of Gourmet Vinay.
Ooh, that's hot. We'll see you all after the break.
Seward is a senior this year, which means that this will be his last season playing CU basketball. He's had some great years playing with the Buffs, but many don't know about his journey from Brazil to LA and finally to Boulder. Ben Hoban got the inside scoop. Let's check it out.
Fifth grade, yeah. Before that, I was playing soccer, and then I started growing. So, my friend told me to join one of his teams, and I did, and it worked out well. My coach from Brazil, he knew somebody in LA that knew a high school coach, and then it was just a couple phone calls. It was actually, a pretty quick process. That happened in like September, and then by the time it was like December, I was already here. So, it was pretty quick. We've been together for 3 years now. Last year we only lost like one player, so we've been together, for a long time. We do everything together, outside activities. We practice on the road. We're just always together, so we've been bonding for a long time. And, I think as a basketball career, this is the team that I've been with that is the closest, and I love it. Yeah. The big wins that we had here, the big crowds, that's something I'm gonna remember forever. Another thing is if we make the NCAA double tournament, that's gonna be a really big memory for me. Because none of us have been there. Yeah.
Earlier today, I headed over to Vinay's house and we cooked up something pretty special for you guys. Here's our take on the men's basketball team in this week's Gourmet Vinay. Sorry, I went off.
Welcome to Gourmet Vinay. We are back in the Hot Take Kitchen. Today I'm joined by my friend and Michelin 5-star Hot Take chef, Ben Wells. We are cooking one of my favorite game day snacks, pigs in a blanket. Ben, you hope to be one of these right now, don't you?
Yeah, these last couple men's basketball games, they've just made me want to curl up into my blanket, get a nice cup of chocolate milk, and just cry. It's been pretty sad. They've had 3 straight losses against three teams that they should have been able to beat. It has not been pretty. Tad Boyle has always coached good defensive teams here, but what's happened lately is, Tad Boyle has said this himself, the offense has been sloppy, and the offense has bred a weaker defense.
Yeah, and, so let's get to these ingredients, because today we got to get to cooking. We've got these mini hot dogs, and you want the Buffs to be a little more dog-ish, right?
Yeah, it was Bennett Presser, the head coach of the football team down in Coastal Carolina, 10 years ago or so. He said his team needed to be more like dogs. They were more like cats. They were not hungry enough out there. I want these Colorado Buffaloes to go out there every time they're on the court and just smack their opponent. They are being too lazy, too lackadaisical. They need to be more like dogs, hungry on the ball, and just get that killer instinct that they've been lacking these last couple of games.
Okay, and the other ingredient we're using is this pastry dough, this crescent rolled dough that you can buy from the store. And this dough is actually pretty soft.
Well, Vinay, you know what that has in common with the Buffaloes?
What?
They've both been soft lately. The Buffaloes, like I said, they have been lacking just that drive. I feel like every time I'm watching the game, it's like they are soft right now.
Okay, so right now I'm cutting, and I'm working on cutting. The Buffs have been working on cutting, making the ball move around a little more efficiently. We're going to take these, we're going to roll them in the dough, and the Buffs are hoping to get on a roll because the Pac-12 tournament's coming up, the NCAA tournament is coming up.
Yeah, look, let me tell you, this is the most important stretch of games for the Buffaloes here.
All right, so we are going to take these pigs in a blanket and turn up the heat on them just like the Buffalo's opponents will at the final stretch of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Put it in the oven at 375 until they're golden brown. Ben, would you do the honors?
Here we go.
Ooh, these look good.
Well toasted, perfectly done. I am excited to get into these.
You guys will enjoy the tournament. Enjoy these pigs in a blanket. Let us know if you make them. Back to you.
After CU introduced Carl Durrell as their football head coach on February 24th, the CU Board of Regents officially approved Durrell's contract after 7 out of 9 members voted for its approval. Durrell is set to make a $3.2 million a year, which salary will increase by $200,000 every year. He will make up to $4 million in the final year of his contract in 2024. With his new contract, Durrell will be making more as a head coach than former CU head coach Mel Tucker.
Durrell has already been hard at work for the Buffs, first working on his coaching staff. This week he announced who will remain coaching with the team from last season. 4 coaches from last year's team will return. One of the 4 is former interim head coach Darren Cheverini, who will take over as the offensive coordinator.
We love some good football news, finally.
That's right, it looks like Durrell is getting the team up and going. I'm starting to get optimistic about next year.
Well, Ben, don't get too confident. You've been down that road before.
Right you are, Zoe. Right you are.
Okay, well, we've got a lot more coming up in this show. Stay tuned for more Buff updates and some pretty high honors.
Not being aware of your
I have things. Isn't it amazing how many things can fit into the same bowl?
Following the lacrosse team's crushing 7-20 loss to Michigan in Ann Arbor on February 23rd, the number 20 ranked Buffs will be taking on unranked Oregon at Kitt Field today at 2. They are 1-2 to start out the season, starting with a loss to Florida in their season opener, then a win against Harvard at home. They're looking for that crucial win today as they would maintain good Pac-12 standings and see an improved collegiate ranking. And, yep. That game is all over. The Buffs absolutely walloped the Ducks by a final score of 21-5. What a game for CU.
The CU track and field team is sending 7 athletes to the NCAA tournament. Seniors Danny Jones, McKenna Morey, and Joe Klecker will be participating in individual events, while Rachel MacArthur, Valerie Welsh, and Karina Mann will be running in a relay. A 4th teammate for the relay has not yet been announced. Jones is a favorite in the women's mile as she ran a sub 4:30 at the Millrose Games, and Klecker had the nation's top mile time, but will instead pursue victory in the 3K and 5K events.
Danny Jones, the decorated track and field star here at CU, has just added yet another award to her trophy case. She has been named the USTF CCCA Mountain Regional Athlete of the Year. This is her 2nd time winning the Athlete of the Year award. The last time she got it was for cross country in 2018. She's the 3rd CU student to win the award for the indoor track season.
There's going to be another Buff in the Pac-12 Hall of Honor. CU athlete, coach, and athletic director Bill Marlotte will be part of the 2020 Hall of Honor class. Marlotte won 4 individual NCAA titles as a skier, then in 1969 became the head coach of the Colorado ski team. Under Coach Marlowe, the Buffs won 7 straight national titles. Then he spent some time coaching the USA ski team, until he came back to Colorado in 1984 as the athletic director. Bill Marlotte will be inducted on the March 13th before the Pac-12 tournament semifinals.
Well, looks like the show is kind of starting to come to an end.
Not so fast, Ben. We still have some pretty fun stuff coming up.
Wait, you're right. Jessica Periani is in the studio with Rapid Fire, and we have a hilarious Super Tuesday themed tweet of the week.
And don't forget, the answer to the trivia question is coming soon. We'll see you all after the break.
Buffs fans, it's that time of the week. It's rapid fire time. On Saturday, the men's basketball team will play against Utah in Salt Lake City at 12:30 p.m. The lacrosse team will play against Coastal Carolina at home on Sunday at 12 p.m. On Monday, the men's golf team will go to Chula Vista, California, competing in their third round in the Lambkin San Diego Classic. This will be an all-day event. And finally, on Thursday, the skiing team will travel to Bozeman, Montana, and compete in the 5 and 10K freestyle for the NCAA Championship. This will be an all-day event, so make sure to support your Buffs this upcoming week.
You know, Zoe, after a long day of reporting sports, I like to grab my tub of cookie dough, relax on the couch, and look up some future trivia questions.
Ben, you're getting ahead of yourself. We've still got this week's answer to get to.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
All right, we asked you all, who was the MVP of the Pac-12 tournament the last time CU won back in 2012? The answer is Carlin Brown. Thanks for playing, everyone. And now, Ben, you can get to your brainstorming.
Right, you are, Zoe. And in case you didn't know, Super Tuesday was this week. Don't worry, we're not going to talk about politics, but we decided to stay relevant. This week's tweet of the week is a clip of Joe Biden. The caption of this one is the NIT bracket reveal. Let's take a look.
Virginia, North Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Minnesota.
Man, Joe's more excited about Minnesota than I am when I see Chipotle on that highway exit sign.
Yep, that video clip does not get old. We watched it many times. All right, next up, we have some sad news. This news show is about to end.
Oh man, it's been such a good one.
You're right. We've had a lot of fun today.
Yeah, well, it's about time for us to go home. Thanks for watching, Buff fans. I'm Ben Wells.
And I'm Zoe Paulson. We'll see you all again next week.